Today on MTG Unpacked, we're taking a look at the Murders at Karlov Manor Commander deck Blame game. So this one, you goad your foes and identify suspects. And the commander here is Nelly Borka, Impulsive Accuser. So we get a Collect Booster Sample Pack, 100 card deck with 12 new cards. Deck box, 10 double-sided tokens, foil etch, display, commander, life wheel, strategy, insert, and reference card. Okay, so let's get into this. So this one's fun, basically making your opponents do all the work for you. J'accuse! Bit of French there with my terrible French pronunciation. Okay, so let's see what we've got here. So we've got our deck per usual. Nice flyer, some punch-out cards here. And the suspect tokens, that will come in handy with this deck. Okay, and then in this thing, what do we got? So we've got a Collector Booster Sample Pack. And in here, as with all the other decks, we've got our Life Wheel going up to 40. Okay, and then deck box here with the commander. Alright, but first let's get stuck into our Murders at Karlov Manor Collector Booster Sample Pack. See if we can get anything nice out of this one. Alright, so more where that came from. They want to get you hooked on the collector boosters, I guess. We've got a foil Doorkeeper Thrall, followed by On the Job. Okay, so that would not really encourage me to pick up any of those collector boosters. Let's see what we've got here in the flyer. And again, the mystery continues. We've got this fun puzzle thing in this set. So playing the deck, so goading your opponents is what it's all about. We've got commander rules here. You can learn about the format. And then what is this puzzle? We have Mystery Foe, the Confounding Kidnapper. Okay, so this is like a code wheel type thing. And then we have some info here about Nelly Borka, Impulsive Accuser. So, yeah, pointing the finger at everybody. Well, let's see how that works out in this deck. And, yeah, these going for about 38 bucks. 50 US at time of filming, and you've got about $68 worth of card value here. I'm sure that will drop in the coming days though. Okay, let's see if I can get into here. So we start off here with our foil etched display commander. So this is a thicker card stock. So the commander here, Nelly Borka, Impulsive Accuser. And you can see thicker card stock purely for display purposes. But then we have the regular version. So Nelly Borka, Impulsive Accuser, legendary creature, human detective, 2/4 for 2 red and white. It's a mythic with vigilance. Whenever Nelly Borka, Impulsive Accuser attacks suspect target creature, then goad all suspected creatures. So a suspected creature has menace and can't block. And whenever one or more creatures an opponent control deal combat damage to one or more of your opponents, you and the controller of those creatures each draw a card. So just encouraging your opponents to attack each other. I like that game plan. Next we have Feather Radiant Arbiter, another mythic legendary creature angel, 4/3 for red and 2 white with flying and lifelink. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell that targets only Feather Radiant Arbiter, you may choose any number of other creatures that spell could target and pay 2 for each of those creatures. If you do, for each of those creatures, copy that spell. The copy targets that creature. And copies of permanent spells become tokens. Let's grab a stack here. We have Immortal Obligation, instant for 1 and a white. Return target creature card from an opponent's graveyard to the battlefield under their control with a duty counter on it. For as long as that creature has a duty counter on it, it is goaded, can't attack you or a permanent you control, and can't block creatures you control. Next up, we've got Otherworldly Escort, creature human detective, 4/3 for 3 and a white with flash. When Otherworldly Escort dies, if it's not a spirit, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control with 4 charge counters on it. It's a spirit detective. It's no longer a human, and for 1 and a white, tap, remove a charge counter from Otherworldly Escort, destroy target creature that dealt damage to you this turn. Next up we got Redemption Arc. Enchantment Aura for 2 and a white, enchant creature. The enchanted creature has indestructible and is goaded. And for 1 and a white, exile enchanted creature. Trouble in Pairs. This is a nice one. Enchantment for 2 and 2 white. If an opponent would begin an extra turn, that player skips that turn instead. And whenever an opponent attacks you with 2 or more creatures, draws their second card each turn, or casts their second spell each turn, you draw a card. So again, disadvantaging your opponents. We have Havoc Eater, creature elemental 3/3 for 5 and 2 red with flying. When it enters the battlefield for each opponent, goad up to 1 target creature that opponent controls. Put X +1/+1 counters on Havoc Eater, where X is the total power of creatures goaded this way. Hot Pursuit, enchantment for 1 and a red. When it enters battlefield, suspect target creature an opponent controls. As long as Hot Pursuit remains on the battlefield, that creature is also goaded. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if 2 or more players have lost the game, gain control of all goaded and or suspected creatures until end of turn. Untap them, they gain haste until end of turn. So you can basically finish off your last surviving opponent. Next we have Mob Verdict. Sorcery for 2 and 2 red. Has secret cancel. Each player secretly votes for another player. Then those votes are revealed. For each vote an opponent received, Mob Verdict deals 2 damage to that player and each creature that player controls. For each vote you received, draw a card. Next up we got Prisoner's Dilemma. This one's fun. Sorcery for 3 and 2 red. Each opponent secretly chooses Silence or Snitch. Then the choices are revealed. If each opponent chose Silence, Prisoner's Dilemma deals 4 damage to each of them. If each opponent chose Snitch, Prisoner's Dilemma deals 8 damage to each of them. Whoa! Otherwise, Prisoner's Dilemma deals 12 damage to each opponent who chose Silence. Flashback for 5 and 2 red. That is a sort of devastating card, actually. Take the Bait. Instant for 2 red and white. Cast a spell only during an opponent's turn and only during combat. Prevent all combat damage that will be dealt to you and planeswalkers you control this turn. Untap all attacking creatures and goad them. After this phase, there's an additional combat phase. And Ransom Note, and this one has different artwork for each of the variants. I think there's like 4 or 5 different ones. Artifact Clue for 1. When Ransom Note enters battlefield, surveil 1, and for 2, sacrifice it, choose 1, cloak the top card of your library, goad target creature, or draw a card. Next we have Angel of the Ruins. Artifact creature Angel 5/7 for 5 and 2 white with flying. When it enters battlefield, exile up to 2 target artifacts and or enchantments, and it has Plane Cycling 2. So for 2, discard this card, search your library for a Plains card, put it into your hand, then shuffle. Next we have Comeuppance. Instant for 3 and white. Prevent all damage that be dealt to you and planeswalkers you control this turn by sources you don't control. And if damage from a creature source is prevented this way, Comeuppance deals that much damage to that creature. If damage from a non-creature source is prevented this way, Comeuppance deals that much damage to the source's controller. Yes, give them their comeuppance. Next we have Darien, King of Kildor. Legendary creature, human soldier, 3/3 for 4 and 2 white. Whenever you are dealt damage, you may create that many 1/1 white soldier creature tokens. Then we have Duelist Heritage. Enchantment for 2 and white. Whenever 1 or more creatures attack, you may have target attacking creature gain double strike until end of turn. Ooh, and a mythic. We got Elspeth, Sun's Champion. Legendary Planeswalker Elspeth. 4 loyalty for 4 and 2 white. Her +1. Create 3 1/1 white soldier creature tokens. Her -3, destroy all creatures with power 4 or greater. -7, you get an emblem with creatures you control get +2/+2 and have flying. Keeper of the Accord, creature, human soldier, 3/4 for 3 and white. At the beginning of each opponent's end step, if that player controls more creatures than you, create a 1/1 white soldier creature token. At the beginning of each opponent's end step, if the that player controls more lands than you, you may search your library for a basic plains card, put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. Next up we have Lauren of the Third Path, legendary creature, human artificer, 2/1 for 2 and white with vigilance. When it enters battlefield, destroy up to 1 target artifact or enchantment. Tap, you and target opponent each draw a card. Promise of Loyalty, sorcery for 4 and a white. Each player puts a vow counter on a creature they control and sacrifices the rest. Each of those creatures can't attack you or planeswalkers you control for as long as it has a vow counter on it. Next we have Selfless Squire, creature human soldier, 1/1 for 3 and a white with flash. When it enters battlefield, prevent all damage that be dealt to you this turn, and whenever damage that will be dealt to you is prevented, put that many +1/+1 counters on Selfless Squire. Next we have Sevin's Reclamation, sorcery for 2 and a white. Return target permanent card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. If this spell was cast from a graveyard, you may copy this spell and may choose a new target for the copy. You can flashback for 4 and a white, so you may cast this card from your graveyard for its flashback cost, then exile it. Next we have Smuggler's Share. This is a nice one. Enchantment for 2 and a white. At the beginning of each end step, draw a card for each opponent who drew 2 or more cards this turn. Then create a treasure token for each opponent who had 2 or more lands enter the battlefield under their control this turn. Next we have a Stalking Leonin, creature cat archer, 3/3 for 2 and a white. When it enters battlefield, secretly choose an opponent. And when you reveal the player you chose, exile target creature that's attacking you. If it's controlled by the chosen player, activate only once. Next we have a Mythic Sun Titan, creature giant, 6/6 for 4 and 2 white. Has vigilance. Whenever it enters the battlefield or attacks, you may return target permanent card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. And Windborn Muse, creature spirit, 2/3 for 3 and a white with flying. Creatures can't attack you unless their controller pays 2 for each creature they control that's attacking you. And Winds of Wrath, sorcery for 3 and 2 white. Destroy all creatures that aren't enchanted. They can't be regenerated. Agitator Ant, a creature insect, 2/2 for 2 and a red. At the beginning of your end step, each player may put 2 +1/+1 counters on a creature they control. Goad each creature that had counters put on it this way. And until your next turn, those creatures attack each combat if able and attack a player other than you if able. Oh, we've got Brash Taunter. Nice one. Creature Goblin, 1/1 for 4 and a red with indestructible. Whenever Brash Taunter is dealt damage, it deals that much damage to target opponent. And for 2 and a red, tap Brash Taunter, fights another target creature. And we have Disrupt Decorum, sorcery for 2 and 2 red. Goad all creatures you don't control. Alright, a whole lot of goading going on with this deck. Next we have Atali Primal Storm, legendary creature, Elder Dinosaur, 6/6 for 4 and 2 red. Whenever Atali attacks, exile the top card of each player's library. Then you may cast any number of spells from among those cards without paying their mana costs. Then we have a Fiendish Duo. This is another nice one. Mythic creature, Devil, 5/5 for 4 and 2 red with first strike. And if a source would deal damage to an opponent, it deals double that damage to that player instead. Next we have a Frontier Warmonger, creature human warrior, 4/4 for 3 and a red. Whenever one or more creatures attack one of your opponents or a planeswalker they control, those creatures gain menace until end of turn. Kazul, Tyrant of the Cliffs, legendary creature, ogre warrior, 5/4 for 3 and 2 red. Whenever a creature an opponent controls attacks, if you're the defending player, create a 3/3 red ogre creature token unless that creature's controller pays 3. Spectacular Showdown, sorcery for 1 and a red. Put a double strike counter on target creature, then goad each creature that had a double strike counter put on it this way. And you can overload for 4 and 3 red. You may cast a spell for its overload cost. If you do, change target in its text to each. Next we have Vengeful Ancestor, creature spirit dragon, 3/4 for 2 and 2 red with flying. Whenever Vengeful Ancestor enters battlefield or attacks, goad target creature. And whenever a goaded creature attacks, it deals 1 damage to its controller. Next up, we got Anya, Merciless Angel, legendary creature angel, 4/4 for 3, red and white. With it's mythic, has flying, and it gets +3/+3 for each opponent whose life total is less than half their starting life total. As long as an opponent's life total is less than half their starting life total, Anya has indestructible. Next up, we got Boros, Reckoner, creature Minotaur Wizard, 3/3 for 3, red or white. Yep. Whenever Boros Reckoner is dealt damage, it deals that much damage to any target, and for red or white, it gains first strike until end of turn. Deflecting Palm, instant for red and white. The next time a source of your choice will deal damage to you this turn, prevent that damage. If damage is prevented this way, Deflecting Palm deals that much damage to that source's controller. And Gisela, Blade of Gold Knight, it's a mythic legendary creature angel, 5/5 for 4, red and 2 white. With flying and first strike, if a source will deal damage to an opponent or a permanent an opponent controls, that source deals double that damage to that player or permanent instead. And if a source will deal damage to you or a permanent you control, prevent half that damage rounded up. Next, we have an Ancient Stone Idol, 12/12 for 10. Holy moly, with flash. The spell costs 1 less to cast for each attacking creature, has trample. When Ancient Stone Idol dies, create a 6/12 colorless construct artifact creature token with trample. Then we have Solemn Simulacrum, artifact creature golem, 2/2 for 4. When it enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a basic land card, put that card onto the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. When Solemn Simulacrum dies, you may draw a card. Steel Hellkite, artifact creature dragon, 5/5 for 6 with flying for 2. It gets +1/+0 until end of turn, and for X, destroy each non-land permanent with mana value X whose controller was dealt combat damage by Steel Hellkite this turn. Activate only once each turn. Then we have Tome of Legends, artifact for 1. Enters battlefield with a page counter on it. Whenever your commander enters battlefield or attacks, put a page counter on Tome of Legends. And for 1 tap, remove a page counter from it. You get to draw a card. And Castle Ardenvale enters battlefield tapped unless you control a plains. Tap for white, and for 2 and 2 white, tap, create a 1/1 white human creature token. Then we have Exotic Orchard. Tap to add 1 mana of any color that a land an opponent controls could produce. Fury Calm Snarl. As it enters battlefield, you may reveal a mountain or plains card from your hand. If you don't, Fury Calm Snarl enters battlefield, tap, tap for red or white. Kerkeep, legendary land, tap for colorless, for 1 and a red, tap. Create a 0/1 red kobold creature token named Kobolds of Kerkeep. And Labyrinth of Skophos, it's a land, tap for colorless, for 4, tap. Remove target attacking or blocking creature from combat. And Needle Spires, a land, enters battlefield, tap, tap for red or white, for 2 red and white. It becomes a 2/1 red and white elemental creature with double strike until end of turn. It's still a land. Scavenger Grounds. It's a land, desert, tap for colorless, for 2 taps, sack a desert, exile old graveyards. And Slayer's Stronghold, a land, tap for colorless, for red and white. Tap, target creature gets +2/+0 and gains vigilance and haste until end of turn. And Temple of Triumph enters battlefield tapped. When it enters battlefield, scry 1, tap for red or white. And Throne of the High City, tap for colorless, for 4 taps, sacrifice it, you become the monarch. And War Room, tap for colorless, for 3 tap, pay life equal to the number of colors in your commander's color identity. You get to draw a card. And Ghostly Prison, enchantment for 2 and a white, creatures can't attack you unless the controller pays 2 for each creature they control that's attacking you. And Gideon's Sacrifice, instant for a single white, choose a creature or planeswalker you control. All damage that be dealt this turn to you and permanents you control is dealt to the chosen permanent instead. Martial Impetus, enchantment aura for 2 and a white, enchant creature. The enchanted creature gets +1/+1 and is goaded. And whenever enchanted creature attacks, each other creature that's attacking one of your opponents gets +1/+1 until end of turn. And Orzhov Advocates, creature human advisor, 1/4 for 2 and a white. At the beginning of your upkeep, each player may put 2 +1/+1 counters on a creature they control. If a player does, creatures that player controls can't attack you or planeswalkers you control until your next turn. Then we have Seal of Cleansing, enchantment for 1 and white. Sacrifice Seal of Cleansing, destroy target artifact or enchantment. Soul Snare, enchantment for a single white. If you pay white, sacrifice it. Exile target creature that's attacking you or a planeswalker you control. Vow of Duty, enchantment aura for 2 and white, enchant creature. The enchanted creature gets +2/+2 as vigilance and can't attack you or planeswalkers you control. And Wall of Omens, creature wall, 0/4 for 1 and white, defender. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card. And Curse of Opulence, enchantment aura curse for a single red enchant player. Whenever an enchanted player is attacked, create a gold token. Each opponent attacking that player does the same, and a gold token is an artifact with sacrifice this artifact, add 1 mana of any colour. Rite of the Raging Storm, enchantment for 3 and 2 red, creatures named Lightning Rager, can't attack you or planeswalkers you control. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player creates a 5/1 red elemental creature token named Lightning Rager. It has trample, haste, and at the beginning of the end step, sacrifice this creature. So basically, you're giving your opponents this creature, but they can only attack your other opponents. That's cool. Shiny Impetus, enchantment aura for 2 and a red, enchant creature. The enchanted creature gets +2/+2 and is goaded, and whenever an enchanted creature attacks, you create a treasure token. So that's an artifact with tap, sack this artifact, add 1 mana of any colour. Vow of Lightning, enchantment aura for 2 and a red, enchant creature. The enchanted creature gets +2/+2 as first strike and can attack you or planeswalkers you control. And Arcane Signet, artifact for 2, tap to add 1 mana of any colour in your commander's colour identity. Bloodthirsty Blade, artifact equipment for 2, equipped creature gets +2/+0 and is goaded. And for 1, attach Bloodthirsty Blade to target creature an opponent controls. Activate only as a sorcery. And Felwar Stone, artifact for 2. Tap to add 1 mana of any colour that a land an opponent controls could produce. Mind Stone, artifact for 2. Tap 4 colourless for 1 tap. Sack it, draw a card. And Soul Ring, of course. Artifact for 1. Tap for 2 colourless. Talisman of Conviction, artifact for 2. Tap for colourless or tap for red or white. It deals 1 damage to you. And Thought Vessel, artifact for 2. You have no maximum hand size. Tap for colourless. Okay, so grabbing the rest of the deck here. We'll set aside the tokens. We have Access Tunnel. It's a land. Tap 4 colourless for 3. Tap. Target creature with power 3 or less can't be blocked this turn. And Ash Barrens. Tap 4 colourless, has basic land cycling 1. So you pay 1, discard this card, search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. Boros Garrison enters battlefield. Tap. When it enters battlefield, return a land you control to its owner's hand. Tap for red and white. And Command Tower. Tap to add 1 mana of any colour in your commander's colour identity. Next we have Escape Tunnel. So you tap, sack it, search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield, tap, then shuffle, or tap, sack it, target creature with power 2 or less can't be blocked this turn. Myriad Landscape enters battlefield. Tap. Tap for colourless for 2. Tap. Sack it. Search your library for up to 2 basic land cards that share a land type. Put them onto the battlefield. Tap. Then shuffle. And Reliquary Tower. It's a land. You have no maximum hand size. Tap for colourless. Rogue's Passage. Tap 4 colourless for 4. Tap. Target creature can't be blocked this turn. Sunhome. Fortress of the Legion. Tap 4 colourless for 2. Red and white. Tap. Target creature gains double strike until end of turn. And Temple of the False God. Tap for 2 colourless. Activate only if you control 5 or more lands. And then we have basic lands here. So plains, 9 of those. Mountains, 7 of those. Okay, so now we'll take a look at the tokens. So we have a 6/12 construct here with trample. On the other side, a 1/1 soldier, then a 1/1 human. On the other side, 1/1 soldier, another human, and a 3/3 ogre. 1/1 soldier. On the other side, another 3/3 ogre. 1/1 soldier, 3/3 ogre. Okay, 1/1 soldier. And kobolds of Keep. 0/1 kobold. And a gold token. On the other side, we got Lightning Rager. Trample and haste 5/1 at the beginning of the end step. Sacrifice this creature. Gold. And treasure. Tap, sack this artifact. Add 1 mana of any color. Gold and kobolds. Gold. And the Monarch. Okay, I was wondering when we'd see that one. And then we have parts of the turn and popular Magic formats. So this one is all about getting your opponents to do your dirty work for you. So they are attacking each other with the goad mechanic. You're making them pay more to target you and giving them cards that can only attack other people. So this one looks like a fun recipe for chaos. Let me know in the comments what you think about this deck. And if you've missed any of the commander decks we've reviewed on the channel over the last several years, I'll pop a link in the corner to the complete playlist. Hope everyone's staying safe and healthy out there. Thanks for watching and have a great day.